Yeah. Oh, he's mixing it. Derek.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm back.
DJing.
What is going on? We have the Kung Fu Avengers have returned. That's right. Actually, first time today. We have Therese Chen, filmmaker, actress, stunt woman, martial artist. She can kick my ass. That's right. Yep. That's why I'm friends with her. I don't want to mess with her. That's right. And yeah, Silver Harvest Productions, son. That's how we roll.
Yes, represent.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be here.
Had to bring you in on this one, Therese. So welcome, first time on Versus. Welcome, and also first time on Versus. Let me set the scene. Let me blow it up. What? Look at the glorious beard. Look at he looks like a badass angel.
Thank you, sir. That's what I was going for, actually. It's really boosted my morale.
just glowing, just look at that face, just glowing. But then you don't want to fuck with him. You know what I'm saying?
He's talking about Bruce Lee, Brandon. Get out of the way.
My bad.
We have Brandon from. Where you from? Tell them. Let them know.
Box office banner, man.
Yeah. Box office
of course,
banner.
isn't just me. I got 3 other dudes on here, but it'll just be me for tonight.
Yeah, I just want to blow up your background so that chat can see the awesome decor back there. That's right. But it's all good. You're by yourself. You got Jason and you got Chucky with you, so you're good to go.
Did not know they were back there.
Rolling with the homies.
This is
That's
a problem.
right. Box office banter in the house. And my brother from another mother, Derek, Flicks, Snacks, and Knickknacks is in the house.
Yeah.
How are you doing, my brother? I'm blowing you up. I'm putting you all on the spot. How you doing?
I'm doing great. See, I got my little buddy. I got Reagan McNeil chilling with me. And yeah, it's been going great. Just uploaded a couple reviews and some ranking videos and getting started on my short film. And yeah, life's good.
Hell yeah. All right.
Shit,
you got a role for me in your short film, right? I get killed off camera.
Oh, we'll figure something out.
Nice. And let me blow up Therese as well. Therese, what was your
I
last
love that
podcast
hat.
you had?
Podcast. I got the awesome chance to interview the amazing martial artists, filmmakers, Dragon Lords. Do check them out. They are the next up and coming martial arts, trying to bring back the classic Shaw Brothers.
Yeah.
In Golden Harvest Studios. If you like that sort of old school stuff, they deliver. I love hanging out with them. I met them back in 2019 when we were on the Jackie Chan fan tour, and we've been best friends pretty much ever since. So it's been amazing to see how far they've gone. So keep an eye on those guys. They're going places.
That's
awesome.
right. Dragon Lords.
For sure.
Dragon Lords.
Samurai's going to have to hit them up so you can get them on the channel as well.
They got a badass name. I can tell you that.
Badass.
And we all know Therese is our sister here because she's wearing the PlayStation cap.
Yes.
That's how we roll. You know what I'm saying?
I love that hat.
All right, let's see.
Can't go wrong.
Dojo Army's in the house here. We got Lone Wolf Ronin. What's going on, man? He says this is going to be cool. I remember. He says I remember your short review of 400 to 1. Okay, I won't say anything else.
Moving on.
Jake Hall in the house. What's up, man? Nigel, Teen Titans, Film Combat Syndicate. Yes, and I'm very happy he's here because I was getting ready to give a shout out to Lee B. Golden, son.
Yes, hi, Lee.
Always golden, right?
Yeah.
He's the one that suggested this. That's right.
Really?
So
Nice.
shout out. Big shout out, and everybody watching right now, make sure you guys follow Film Combat Syndicate on Facebook and YouTube channel. Phenomenal stuff, phenomenal work. So thank you, Lee, for that suggestion. And I was just thinking about it myself. When he suggested that to me, I was like, you know what? That's right. No one's really put these two movies together. So we're gonna talk about it tonight, and only one will win. Oh, we got Todd Johnson in the house. What's going on, man? We got DJ Anubis. Here we go. Brolacon, Heather. Oh, shit. All the badasses. All right. Let's go ahead and kick it off here.
Yeah, it's a genre I haven't really thought about talking about, just, sectioning off those movies, kind of like one shots or really super long shots at least, or one takes, So, that's a really good one. Yeah,
it's kind of weird watching them back to back, honestly. Because I'm stuck now. Like if I see that, it's like once in a blue moon, but watching them boom and then boom, it was like now when I go back to watch another movie, it's almost gonna feel weird. Like, why are you cutting it?
Yeah. I always feel that way. I hate it when it's just all those cuts and edits. Yeah, this was refreshing to say the least.
Yeah.
No doubt,
before I jump into Crazy Samurai Musashi, what was the? I'll ask Therese. We'll go around the corner here. What was the first one take fight sequence you saw, and you were like, "What is this?" It kind of caught you off guard.
Ooh, it's
if you can remember.
Tamyungung.
Which one is it?
Tony Jaa, the Protector.
Oh, the Protector. Yes, the staircase fight.
That's the one I was gonna say too.
Man,
That's the one I was gonna say too. Yeah.
I was gonna say that
It's
too.
like once you watch that, you won't forget it for very long. It's
Obviously not. Look at it's all the way around.
yeah.
I wanted to think of another one though, just in case, because I had a feeling.
Do you have another one?
I'm like, no, I did. I mean, I was hoping I'd have a longer chance. Like you kind of caught me off guard with that. Actually, I was like, shit.
I guess.
I feel like I should know this on the spot.
There was probably other, I'm sure there's probably
there's
other
got to be
fight choreographers in movies that did a little bit of the one take or experimented with it. I'm sure that
Old
exists,
Boy.
but
sure.
Old Boy, yeah, that was probably
the hallway. Yeah, the hallway.
that one.
Scene.
Yeah, that's probably
that's
the
a good
first one. Yeah, because I saw Old Boy before Protector. So, but yeah, Protector, I was like, yo, we're still going, homie. I was like, what is happening? People getting thrown off the balcony. I mean, that really blew my mind at the time.
Oh yeah.
And I feel the one take fight sequence aspect. Basically, I think it's awesome, and if it's done right.
Yes.
If it's milked to death and they don't know how to do it right, then it's going to be a problem. But I think if it's done right, I don't think we'll ever really get tired of it, as long as there's variety in that one take fight, right?
Exactly.
And there's plenty in that.
Elizabeth. Oh yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just saying there's a lot of route. You said throwing people off. He'd stop on the staircase because it was like it just kept going and going and going. He'd stop for a second, fight again, then he'd throw another person off. At the very end, he caps it off with like hitting the dude with the knee through the glass, through the door. And then of course you get the reveal of what they're all doing in there, and then he's pissed even more. It's just that whole thing is amazing.
It blew my mind.
Then they had that one Elizabeth Olsen movie, the horror movie, was one take.
Really?
One shot, and I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, yes. Silent House. Is that what it is?
House Silent. Like you're right on track. But yes, that's. And I think that was only one or two shots. Yeah.
I'm not just playing. I'm just throwing all these things we're saying together. It's like, I think that's like rewording
Monster House.
Rob Zombie title.
Yeah, I think that they did a good job with that one. Mm-hmm. But I think that was, you could tell if you look closely, you could tell they edited there.
Exactly. Yeah. They go to a wall and it gets dark. Yeah, and you're like, okay, yeah, nice try.
All right, so let's go into 2020's Crazy Samurai Musashi 400 versus 1. Plot synopsis: the most famous battle of the swordsman Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto fights against 588 enemies, one after the other. There is no room for error, no room for trivial, outdated, or unconvincing movements. Who is writing these plot synopses?
Did you write that? Was that your plot synopsis?
Horrible. No, I'm looking on IMDb.
Okay,
that's
what we do too.
What the hell?
They hated it, dude. They hated it.
Anyway, directed by Yuichi Shimomura. I'm sorry if I said the name wrong. And it stars the legend himself, Tak Sakaguchi. So I remember a lot of hype around this movie came out. Mm-hmm. And I was really excited for it, especially when you look at the poster. I'm like, yes, because Samurai Guy, y'all know, I love the violence. I love the huge body counts. You know what I'm saying?
No shortage of that in these. At all.
And, I sat down with Lady Fablet. I'm like, here we go. Let's check this out. And there's a problem with the film. At least I have a problem with the movie, but I'm going to get into it. First of all, again, huge Tak Sakaguchi fan. Mm-hmm. He is a beast in this.
No doubt.
Especially the stunt team. I mean, the fact that they kept going for over 77 minutes is crazy. It's crazy.
The cardio.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, like I give.
He wasn't even really sweating either.
He needs all that water.
I mean, one part of the movie, Tak Sakaguchi actually sits down and takes a break.
Yes.
He just sits there like, he gets back into it.
It was all better for it though.
Props.
It broke everything up nicely.
Yeah. So props for Tak Sakaguchi. He's a beast. Props to the stunt crew for being able to do that. I mean, I would be done in like less than 5 minutes of fight choreography. I'd be passed out. So yeah, I give them props for that, and I give them props for trying. I give them props for, you know, let's experiment here. I call this movie it's a very experimental film.
Yeah,
do we need a lot of these types of movies? No, I think this is a very experimental movie. But I give them props again. I thought, you know, nobody. I don't see anybody else trying to do this until we get to One Shot. But again, props to everybody involved. However, was it an entertaining film? That's what I'm going to get to here. So the plot, if there is a plot, I don't think there's a plot.
Don't kill the kid. It's
literally.
Well, that's over. Let's do it anyway.
He's an assassin. He shows up and he does his thing. Blah 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 blah. But you know, we're here for the fight, right? Even you could say the same exact thing. We're going to get to One Shot, but you could kind of say the same thing with the One Shot. The plot is very thin. You're here for the action, right? So at first I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's see how this works out, man. So he's, you know, throwing down here. And I was just kind of like, all right. The fight choreography is simple, and it has to be simple, especially if you can't do anything too, you know, complicated. Otherwise somebody's going to fuck up and then you got to start all over. So you got,
could you imagine John Wick choreography in a one-take movie?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's impossible to do. But I mean, you got to keep it simple, right? And you know, simple attacks, and that's fine. And I didn't have any issues with that, you know. But after 20 minutes went by, after 30 minutes went by, I was just kind of like, what I hope wasn't going to happen started to happen, and I started to get bored. I honestly started to get bored. And the entertainment for me, this is just me talking. I'm sure it's probably different for you guys. But the entertainment aspect for me changed to, hey, let's spot the same stunt guys that are wearing the big protective wigs so we know which one's going to get hit on the head. That became the entertainment. I mean, especially right here, we're like, hey, see the guy? See, he's got the afro, right? Find all the stuntmen, exact same stuntmen with the afro.
Looks like Khabib Nurmagomedov.
They should have at least done some on the next with them or something.
Yeah, so you know which ones are going to get the headshots, right? And then that's kind of how we were getting our entertainment out of it. And you know, they had to recycle a lot of the same stuntmen. And after they die, the camera keeps going. And you can tell stuntmen probably ran around the corner, came back to get killed again. And that's fine. It's old school Black Ninja attack from the end. All right. But it was just, you know, I'm trying to be patient.
Say it, Samurai.
I'm trying to be patient. I was getting okay. I was getting mad. I was getting angry because I was just like, okay, this. I understand the experiment and they tried, but now this for me, the experiment is failing. And what made me even more annoyed was the finale fight at the end of the movie was fucking amazing.
Oh my god! And I'm glad you said it. Yeah. So good.
That's how Sakaguchi's fight scenes usually work. That's how they're filmed, edited, and that's how they are. That's why he's awesome, right? And it just made me more frustrated because I'm kind of like, the whole point of this movie was to do everything pretty much in one take, and then at the end they just say, fuck it, I think we, just in case, let's just film one more action sequence to kind of top it off.
It was like an intro and an outro, but everything else was that one take.
I actually got a little interested when he fought the last guy at the end in the rain, because the setting changed. And then I was like, I actually sat up in my seat. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, let's see how this goes. But I was actually I was just as exhausted as Sakaguchi was. You're with him the whole time. So I was like, woo, you know, and I think I clapped, even though I was kind of pissed. I was like, hey, Taki, you guys did it. Hey. But I was still kind of pissed because I need a little bit more variety, man. You know, and Samurai Guy loves his mindless action movies, you know, but I need you know, I was getting a little. We want to watch the action movie, right? We want to start rocking, like, right? We don't want to be doing this rocking. right?
Yeah.
Like they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like in playing Mortal Kombat characters, they're about to get the fatality.
Yeah. Just kind of like, oh,
right. So it's just like, again, props for trying. I can't do what they do. Those guys are professionals.
Yeah.
But I feel, especially with the end fight, and even in a lot of Sakaguchi's fight sequences, he has these very interesting modified weapons, especially if you guys watch was it Therese? Is it Reborn? What is the name of that movie he made? I don't think it's Reborn. I forgot.
Was it Versus?
Versus, he's very creative in that, but there's another movie that's on Shudder. I forgot the name of it right now. I'm sure Chad will help me out, but he's very interesting type of weapons he uses, and the end fight is finale is phenomenal. Say that 5 times fast, right? But I was still, and then it went straight to credits, and I was just really frustrated. I was really frustrated. So that's enough of my yakking. Let's go ahead and go to Derek.
Alrighty.
Thoughts on Musashi?
Okay, so you touched on a lot of things I was going to say, but I have a couple more things to add, I guess. So let me start off with the things I did like about this, because there are a lot of things I did like. I thought the acting, when they needed to act, in the intro and the outro, and the main characters, Musashi, Sakaguchi, and even some of the extras were good when they needed to be, but the intro was intense. It kind of set up a cool storyline, I thought. At least I thought it was going to. And then it really surprised me, though, when we kind of started following. Oh, we're doing spoilers?
Oh, yeah.
Is that okay? Okay.
Spoilers,
just making sure. It kind of really surprised me. Cool. Just making sure. It surprised me when we were like kind of rooting for this kid to be protected. And then you find out that the main character that you're following throughout this movie is the guy who actually drops down from the tree to kill him.
And kill him.
Yeah, and then so it's his story, not the warrior. They were kind of hyping up this other samurai, saying like, you're such a good fighter, but you can't take all these people on. You kind of thought it was going to be this guy, and then it's not. Out from the trees, comes your main character, and I thought that was really cool. I have always been in love with samurai culture, so just seeing any kind of samurai movie, I gravitate towards that. It's always fun for me. So that aspect of it, the wardrobes and the weapons, the blades, the katanas and everything. I love that stuff. Actually, this light I have right here, this red light, it lighting up behind me, is a custom lightsaber I had made, and it's like a samurai type of custom hilt.
I was gonna say that. I was like, I think that's a lightsaber.
I don't know how high I can get it. Yeah, right there. It's like got the hilt and everything.
Whoa! Don't touch it.
Oh, whoa! Just electrified.
$1,000.
And then, but kind of getting into some of the stuff I didn't like. It just kind of like you said, it just felt really. And it had to be, and I get that, but it just felt really lazy in terms of choreography. It was like parry, stomach slash, and he'd do that like 5 times in a row, and then head, and then hit the foot, and then hit him in the head, and then we're back to the same thing. And I get that that's kind of how it has to be, but then it probably shouldn't be 77 minutes long. If that's how it has to be. The camera work not only changes styles when you go from the intro to the middle to the outro, but it's also like a completely different quality of camera. It's like the intro and it looks very cinematic, and the outro the same way, and then in the middle it looks like somebody's just walking around with a iPhone, which there's nothing wrong with that, but there is when you contrast them so greatly, when you go from that to this back to this. And I was left feeling the same exact way that you are. Wow, the intro was cool. And the outro was some of the best samurai fighting I've seen in a movie in a long time. It's only 2-3 minutes long, but it's badass. It's fucking awesome. It is so good. Not here, though. Not I wanted more for sure of that. And so this movie was I had a lot of fun with it in terms of that. But I was so close to fast forwarding. If I wouldn't have been afraid to miss something, I would have fast forwarded about 50 minutes of it, to be honest. But I had a lot of fun with it. I think they did, like you said. I respect the effort. I want to see more out of the people that made this, for sure. No doubt. I'm not dissing on them or anything they've created. Just you know, I would have preferred this story as not a one take movie and just an actual samurai movie with the story. They start with the, you know, and continue with the intro and then, you know, end with that outro, but just keep the same vibe throughout. And I would have probably enjoyed this a lot more.
Yeah. Again, yeah, you know, I agree with you, Derek. It's like we're applauding the efforts, not the end result.
Exactly.
You know? And I watch. You guys know me. I watch hundreds of action movies, but the plot doesn't matter and the plot sucks. But the action scenes, right? Action scenes are dope. Just because this movie has a lot of action in it doesn't mean it's an amazing action movie.
Exactly.
You know, let's not get twisted on that.
Yeah, there's people that he cut down that disappear. You know, so they can, like you said, get up, run around, and do it again. So yeah, a lot of that stuff. It was just it felt too amateur.
Right.
Even though like the people doing it are obviously, like you said, super uber talented. But still, and I couldn't do it. But yeah, it felt like there was a good idea that just wasn't quite ready.
That's why I call it the experiment.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Let's try something out here.
That's exactly.
All right, Therese, thoughts on the Musashi?
Yeah. Okay. So my thoughts pretty much. No, sorry. I mean, yeah, I myself was also pretty much itching for the fast forward button because at the beginning, like it gets better, like after, but you have like it gets a little more variation and more interesting later on, but you have to wait through 1 hour, 2 hours worth of the sameness, even with the camera angles and the choreography, that by the time you get there, I was so basically exhausted that I couldn't really appreciate the later on choreography as much as I could then. And then you get to the edited part and it's like, okay, so this is what it could have looked like when you had editing and good choreography. If you just kept that and put that in the whole movie, I'd be so on board with that. But I guess it is interesting because I think from what I've read, the beginning and the end were shot later because of funding. So they used that to tack it on. So that's probably why there is a distinct difference in style and everything else. But yeah,
the
it was
budget
like
went up.
Yeah, I think so. Or they crowdfunded too.
Okay.
So
that's cool though. Yeah, nice.
So there's that. But yeah, like you said, I noticed that a lot of it was just like, and I'm like, oh, how many times was this gonna happen? And to do all that and with the butts on the head, I was expecting a lot more blood or something because the way that they did it just felt. Are they using metal? Because it didn't feel like it was actually like a metal sword that would do a lot of damage in the way that they showed it. And I think maybe that's budget more than anything else. And probably because they were trying to, they didn't want anybody to get hurt on set as well.
Like you said with the blood, like they, there's blood that flies off of people every now and then, but there's never blood on his blade or on anybody's clothes.
Yeah.
It's very, very
so I was like,
and it's like, wow.
Probably one of those things they did when they got the crowdfunding. Let's add some blood.
CGI blood was one of them.
Oh, we lost him, but just go ahead. I would just go ahead and keep going.
Okay.
Here he comes. Okay.
That was my choice.
He's trying to scare the shit out of me.
I was like, just keep it rolling,
That might happen. That might happen a few times. So
you're fine.
I'm still with you.
No, that's all good.
Yeah.
All right.
But I just think it didn't help that there wasn't a lot of camera work to make things interesting because it pretty much stuck on the mid to like very wide until the end where they tried to play around with like punching into the final big boss, which I think I wish it was a little bit longer because it felt very, very short from what I remember. And if he was meant to be like the final big bad, I wish it was a little bit of build up, but at that point I kind of dropped in any sense of plot and character. At that point I'm just okay, let's just see ///. And
sorry. There we go. Wrong button.
And let's just see how I go. And I think it was interesting. I guess it's pretty much it because basically what you, Derek, and what Samurai have said, I pretty much in agreement on. It's just it felt very long, and it was it's one of those things that this is one of the times where one take doesn't quite work. For me at the very least.
It's just variety, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
If you're not going to edit, then you need to have something else to make it interesting. Otherwise, people are just going to fall asleep or lose interest.
It's like,
It's
I mean,
I
maybe
agree 100% with that.
like this was the first wave, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe later another group came by and had a different type of fighting style or different weapons, and he had to adjust to that.
Kind of like
Yeah,
Snowpiercer
there
as he's
was,
going
like,
up the trains.
yeah, like that character with the big whip with that chunky guy with that what was it? I don't know. It's like a mace or something. He looked like he was going to be interesting, and then he gets stabbed in the stomach like 5 seconds later.
This guy,
right away.
Well,
yeah.
not this guy.
This could have been a lot cooler if it was 1
yeah.
versus 100 instead of 400, probably.
Yeah, that guy. I thought he was going to be on screen for a little bit longer than what he was.
Like, oh, it's about to go down.
I was like, oh, that was quick.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go to Brandon. Thoughts on Musashi, man?
It sucked ass. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm just crazy. I just come in hot with that.
Fuck this movie.
Yeah, I think I benefited from this movie a little bit because it seems like y'all came in like, let's see how this is, and then over time it became like repetitive. For me, as soon as it broke out, I'm like, so this is going to be the rest of the movie. I immediately, like from the first sword slash, I felt the repetitiveness. But then as it went along, he kind of like went off into like a little hut, and then he had water. I'm like, okay, that at least breaks things up a bit. And I started feeling a little bit better. And then that new guy kind of came in. He's like, you're not even with this clan. And they got in a fight. And I was like, okay, so there's at least a little bit of something that gives us pause. You know, like it's almost like those water breaks, like I was kind of touching on in between when one of y'all was talking, was a thing where he needed to have that. But in an odd kind of way, it actually helped the movie too, because it broke up the madness. And I think me starting with an immediate repetitiveness and kind of like, instead of like, y'all like, this is good, okay, it's repetitive. Me, I'm like, it's repetitive. I started noticing all the little things they did, not plot wise, but little things that, you know, broke it up just enough for it to not be quite as repetitive. Not that it isn't, because there definitely is some repetitiveness here for sure. One thing I noticed too, like y'all were saying, the choreography, it was solid. Like it's one of those things you kind of got to weigh it for what it is. Like what y'all were kind of touching on too is like, it wasn't amazing. It wasn't John Wick. It could have been even better, like that end fight. But taking that into mind, I kind of let that, you know, flow on by. I didn't get too upset about it. I kind of just became engrossed with this movie after a while. And I admit to some degree, maybe this would have been better as like a 40-minute quick, like long, maybe like not a show, but it's like a 40-minute movie on fucking Netflix. And you're just like, wow, maybe the 90 minutes is a little overkill. Cut it in half. You know, do something else with that.
100 versus 1.
Yes, exactly. You even said that. And then another thing too, there was something that's weird about the samurai thing. Maybe they couldn't have done this with like, you know, the budget. They were scared to mess it up. Something I was thinking of, imagine being like the third to last guy and you trip and fall running at him or something. It's like, oh no. Like you. The
stress level in making these movies has to be like this.
And that alone made me appreciate it more and more, which kept me involved with it as it wore on.
I have to agree with that too.
Like I was appreciating it.
I'm so impressed with the fact. I'm so impressed with the fact they can do that.
It canceled out the repetitiveness to a degree. Another thing, like y'all were saying, more blood. Like I thought maybe we'd throw in a few like beheadings or something like that. Like maybe just slice some motherfucker's head clean off type shit.
Yeah,
maybe like instead of the more like CGI-ish blood, maybe more of like the spray blood. But maybe that is more like, you know, error. Like you could like, oh shit, the packet or whatever the fuck didn't go off. Like,
well then that guy can't get up.
This and then just throw a head off screen.
The problem is that guy can't get up and go back again if he's got blood from practical effects on this.
And even like the water breaks, like on like the 5th one or whatever. I love when he like sits down and he talks to himself and he's basically just saying like, fuck it, I gotta die one fucking day. And then they throw in the one thing with the two guys that are about to fight that are like on the same fucking clan. And he just breaks that shit up. There was just enough there to keep me interested. And I did enjoy this movie overall. And I didn't think I was going to when it opened up. But yeah, overall, man, this one's a hard one to talk about. I'm trying to word my way around it, especially going forth, because it's literally like, this is what it is. And that's it. Like there's not a bunch of depth here. But I mean, it was shot well. It looked good. Everybody looked like they knew what the fuck they were doing. It might have not been overly technical, but for what it is, it was damn technical enough. I remember there was one scene in particular though that was kind of like, all right, bro. It was also kind of cool in a weird way, but they had these dudes flying in. He killed literally like 12 people in a row while they were waiting their turn, and they all came in with the samurai sword like this. He just sliced the stomach. The next guy came in, he's like, he sliced his stomach. He did that like 10 times in a row. I was like, all right, bro, this is a little overkill. You didn't think like the last 5 people that maybe the approach leaving your
switch guard.
Yeah, like it's not gonna work. Like there's little things like that, but overall it kind of canceled out the repetitiveness, those little breaks, and just the crowning achievement I think that this film is. And I will say it is a good action movie. I don't know if it's entirely rewatchable. I enjoyed watching it at least once. It's not one I'm necessarily going to show my friends. Like, I'll tell them about it, but I'm not going to watch it with them because I could see them having a reaction like, bro, what am I watching right now? I'm so done with this. It just keeps going. It's not interesting anymore. But it's also, it's its own thing. It might be like a little bit of like completely different thing, like T-Pain with rap. He was amazing when he had the auto-tune, but then everybody else came in with the auto-tune and T-Pain fell off the fucking map. I could see if they do more of these, this won't be as special. It's not good enough to be like the crowning jewel. This is what started all. This is the originator of all this. But at the end of the day, it being kind of its own unique thing, that's enough for me to be invested and interested enough in how badass the character was. It won me over by the end of it.
All right, look at that. That's awesome. Look at that. He's a fan. Copy that.
That's good. Right, that's always good. I mean, I always want to like a movie, so I'm never going to complain that somebody does like one. If I don't, that is the most terrible take you could have. I'm always like, man, sweet, good for you. I wish I did.
But also, I just didn't want to be the 4th movie down in a row. Like I said, this movie sucks.
He's like, I just literally everything I just said was a complete lie. I'm sorry.
No, I did. It won me over.
Yeah, it's word.
Word to your mother. All right, One Shot. 2021. All right, directed by James Nunn, starring Scott Adkins and Ryan Phillippe. All right, plot synopsis. An elite squad of Navy SEALs on a covert mission to transport a prisoner off a CIA black site island prison are trapped when insurgents attack while trying to rescue the same prisoner. All right, that sums it up pretty much. Very, very razor thin plot here, but you're here for the action.
Yes.
But what did I want? What was the main thing I wanted?
Scott Adkins kicking ass.
Roundhouses. Where were
roundhouses? Yeah, exactly.
What did I? I mean, with Musashi. Yeah. Again, I applaud the efforts, but what did I really want with that? Was variety. I wanted variety. And
you get that here.
In my opinion, One Shot completely delivers with variety. And even if the plot, you don't think it's great, it's fine. In terms of filmmaking, if you're a filmmaker or if you're in the industry like Therese is, and as you know, Flicks will soon be with his short film and all that, you can rewatch One Shot and you'll pick up things you didn't pick up the first time. And that happened to me when I watched it for the second time. I was like, oh man, I didn't even notice that. And the crazy thing is like, okay, you're watching a one take movie. Then the fucking title's called One Shot. The crazy thing is, dude, there are scenes in there where you're like, how long did it take to do just this little 5-minute sequence right here? Just the 5 minutes out of the whole fucking movie. Just the 5 minutes where it's not just the performers, the stuntmen, the actors, but the cameraman has to make sure he is in the perfect right position.
Could you imagine tripping
this way to make sure he gets this person's reaction while the explosion goes off over here? Then he has to turn to show the aftermath, then pull back and see these guys run in this room while these actors run out screaming. Then you have a shooting gallery going on in the hallway in the back, and then you have to turn to hear the actors actually act before they go into the next room. It's fucking crazy, man. Like, how long did it take for them to do this entire movie? Because think about it. What if they started doing the whole movie and then the cameraman tripped and fell over?
Yeah.
Can you imagine
Take
that?
100.
It'd be the end of fucking Blair Witch. You know, oh shit. Billy Bob fell again. We're going to have to start all over from the fucking helicopter.
Could you imagine? Starting over with like just at the end. Or like being one of the actors, used to acting in a typical, environment where you're able to be like, sorry, cut that, so like that might be your first instinct if you mess up, imagine just like messing up and being like, oh, sorry guys. And everyone's like, oh no, just play with it. No, should have just tried it. Ad lib if you have to. That don't
improv.
Yeah, improv if you have to. Exactly.
I've done that with music, man, where like I'm trying to lay down something and I'm like, fuck, I gotta start the verse over. What am I doing?
Ad lib.
Yeah, this is not to start a verse over, like, it's like a minute, if that. This is the whole movie. Like, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's nuts. So the movie starts off, little helicopter ride. They're arriving to pick up the prisoner and escort him, especially to get information that he has. And then the villains show up and they're fighting to get him, blah, 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 blah. But it's just like, even the actors, I mean, it's not like you say, well, everyone in here is Oscar caliber performance in this movie.
No.
It doesn't have to be with this type of film. The acting's fine. It's solid. It's fine.
Passable.
But yeah, Adkins is a fucking beast.
Oh my gosh.
And what I love about this movie is that you get tactical shootout sequences, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, what did I say earlier? Variety. Out of nowhere, he gets in a knife fight, and then he fights another gentleman, and the fight choreography's dope and on point, and you see blood squibs. There's no digital. There's one scene at the end where it's just Adkins being a one-man army, and the camera work is following him, and he's shooting this guy, and then the guy backs up to show this guy coming around the corner, and Scott Adkins shoots him, and you see the blood squib explode. Imagine if they fucked that up. Could you imagine? Just the blood.
No, I couldn't. I don't want to imagine the stress. That's like being air traffic controller. That would be terrible.
Yeah,
it's insane, man. It's insane. I think one of the craziest parts for me when Scott Adkins went into the vent. You guys remember that shot in the movie?
Oh yeah.
So the camera guy is showing Scott Adkins talk to everybody else and the prisoner. All right, he shows him take the vent off the covering. And then the cameraman shows Scott Adkins like this. And then the cameraman gets inside the vent and he backs up. And you see Scott Adkins crawl into the vent, Die Hard style, right? And then the guy gets out and keeps filming and then follows Scott. And there's like, was someone behind the cameraman helping him?
Most underrated cameraman of the year.
Yeah, how much are they getting paid? Because they deserve a raise for this type of.
My God, you're not kidding.
Like this shouldn't be the same type of payout.
If you're not enough. That cameraman is ridiculous, dude. To be able to follow, I mean, yeah, you give credit to the the choreography and the people doing the stunts, but it takes a lot to. I mean, imagine they couldn't have switched out. Had to have been the same guy, right? You'd have to think, unless maybe when they stay still for a little bit, maybe he gets a break. But like just. That's crazy work, man.
Yeah, and then the cameraman still has to make sure he's on time filming the actors act and react to things, as well as going right back to the action. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, again, variety, and even in the end fight when he fights the main villain.
That was so good.
We had ground fighting. We had submissions and grappling,
real MMA.
Like crazy shit.
He's walking him to the edge of the cage. He's walking him to the cage, man. When he's trying to get that knife, it's crazy. It's awesome to see.
So I really enjoyed it. And again, you can learn a lot from it. So enough of me, enough of my yakking. Derek, what do you think of one shot?
Okay, so first of all, I have to start off by saying the first shot I saw in this movie was a credit scene that said this was made or funded or produced, I can't remember, by Chicken Soup for the Soul. And I thought, oh, fuck. I was like, this is going to suck so bad. I was like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy a good, lovey-dovey story every now and then. And I've read Chicken Soup for the Soul, for the soul when I'm sitting on the toilet and stuff. But like, I was like, what is this, man? But okay, so Scott Adkins is my favorite martial artist of all time.
All right.
I mean, I'm not putting him on par skill wise with somebody that can do the same kind of thing like Jackie Chan. I'm not doing or Bruce Lee. I'm not necessarily doing that. But
this is your personal favorite.
But he is. I love seeing him on screen. And he's getting older. And when I did my interview with Jesse V. Johnson, that's one thing he mentioned was he's like, I love working with Scott, but like a lot of the things I'm wanting in my action films. He's getting where he doesn't want to quite do those things anymore. And so when I saw this, I was really impressed because I was like, I don't know what Jesse was asking of him because he did just about everything in this movie. But You know, we get a great opening line to set up the proper testosterone levels needed for this movie. Good acting, you know, from the guys that played the SEALs. Atkins included, though my small complaint about him in this role will come up in just a minute. And like I said earlier, this was a little bit more impressive to me, not only because, like you said, variety and just, I mean, how the hell did they make this movie? I mean, my mind's blown. We'll get into that in a minute too, but it does take away a little bit from 400 versus 1, especially since I watched that one first and it had an intro and an outro, and it's separate from the long shot. And the long shot was less impressive than those. So like this one's sticking with something and doing it really well. Obviously gives it, you know, some points over that. It gets even better than it already was when Scott Adkins does his Rambo impression. He grabs a big old Bowie knife and he goes to town. A couple more notes here. Gut-wrenching scene that is done really, really well. That made me just fighting mad as a dad, and I wanted to kill that bald fuck for strapping that bomb on his son. Just, but real for some people, you know. It's just, it was such a hard scene to watch, but I thought they did that so well, adding to the drama and adding to the story, and without taking away from any of the action. And it was just amazing. Really creative use of obstacles and stuff that they're moving around and behind, where Scott's acting like as a shadow and they're using him. It's almost like you're playing Splinter Cell, man, the way they use the camera, and he's just knifing people. It was so cool. Like you said, final showdown and choreography, just great. The kill at the end is awesome. This movie got better as it went for me. And like Brandon said, that's how 400 versus 1 for him was, as opposed to me, where it was the opposite in that movie for me, where it kind of wore on. But then, like I said, the end, I was like, wow, okay, wish I would have had more of that. But this movie kind of consistently got better. And then when it ended, I was like, that was awesome. I loved that. But I do have complaints. First complaint, like I said, about Scott Adkins. One of my favorite actors, even not for necessarily for his acting ability, just for his on-screen presence, his martial arts ability. But whenever he plays an American, his accent always sounds off to me.
I was going to ask how he did his American accent.
Yes, it's always a little off to me. And then you can always hear the Brit slip out every now and then, you know. And
I didn't catch it. I caught it more here, but I think it's just because it's the one shot. That doesn't.
And that's possible
usually,
too.
But I felt it more here than normal, and I think that's what it was. Is because, you know, normally you could probably be like, all right, another take. I can nail
Exactly. And like I said, but even in those movies where he does get takes, I notice it sometimes. His Russian accent was amazing and undisputed. But
funny if you turned Brit, like, as the movie went on, it's like, just roll with it. We can't afford to do this over.
We can't do this again. This is take 45.
Is he British now? What the fuck?
And some of the dialogue is expectedly bad in this movie and cheesy, which is fine. One person that surprised me as being kind of bad in this movie was Ryan Felipe.
Not me.
Just like, I liked him like the first half of the movie, and then when he started actually getting into the action, he's sitting up against the wall and he's like, I don't know what he says, but I was just like, oh, it's so bad. But and Ashley Greene, I didn't care for her and her role too much. She has no facial expressions, but she just looks slightly concerned all the time.
But hey, she dies. Hey.
Yeah.
Well, that was.
Yeah, and so, like, other than a couple of bad performances and you know, some Scott Adkins just not being able to quite get that American accent down. Other than that, this movie was balls to the wall fun. I enjoyed every single second of this movie. I had to really pay attention and nitpick on my second viewing to find some things I didn't like, to be honest.
So awesome, Derek. So before we move on we'll go to Therese. Actually, we'll go to Brandon next. But before we do that, have you guys seen any actual action movies starring Ryan Phillippe?
Because is he in Takers?
Apparently, I heard he actually has a martial arts background. I was like,
I've heard his name pop up once.
They didn't use that. They didn't use it enough in this. Then
I couldn't nail down a single movie, but I know I've seen him in a couple of these B movies, but I didn't care enough about him for them to like stick with me.
Right. I always like him more in his rom-coms than, you know, just as him as an actor.
But there's a
this isn't
TV
the same
show.
I believe as in with he's
I
married
think
to her now.
I'm confused.
Reese
Oh,
Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon. Yeah.
Cruel
Is that the same
Intentions?
Ryan? Is this
Yeah,
is that
it's
right?
Yes,
that guy,
yes,
that
it
guy.
Yeah.
is.
Wow.
Yeah,
Then
that's the
I
problem
didn't.
I had with this one. I was like, anytime I see his name strapped to something, it worries me. Like, I'm like, if it was back in the day, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Cruel Intentions, like I could get down with them, like in them younger
Yeah.
roles. But
Okay.
now when I see him strapped to a movie, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be bargain bin central. It's probably not gonna be that like upper echelon diamond in the rough that I want it to be.
He doesn't seem to reach those acting levels that some of the other ones do. You're right.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
like now
I was
he's
thinking
probably
of
cashing it in off name.
I was thinking of the series he was in, and
Shooter.
Lee,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Lee. Shooter series. I don't know if that was any good. Have anybody seen
It
that?
it was really good. It actually, I enjoyed it. I'm a fan of the movie,
right.
and I like the show. And my brother-in-law like watched it like 3 times in a row. So
maybe you guys.
It's okay.
feel maybe
It's okay.
He was a little miscast in here.
yeah, I did.
Maybe he
Yeah,
was
I
one
wasn't
of the
digging him.
soldiers, like on the team, like maybe one of the SEAL guys that gets killed. I don't know. Maybe he could have been one of those guys.
He could have been the first SEAL guy to go down. I would have been okay with that. Yeah.
All right, Brandon, take it away, man. One shot.
Yeah, man. This movie, I'm not gonna lie, like the first like 20 minutes before this shit popped off, I was like, oh man, because I was already going into like the Ryan Felipe shit, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be one of his like worst movies, like because he
Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Atkins, but it's like a half and half thing. You get the movie, you're like, God, no, why? And then you get the other half, you're like, oh my God, like Avengement's one of like my favorite movies.
Oh, so good. So good.
That's probably my favorite of his.
So good.
But this one, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't know yet. I'm not all the way in. I'm waiting for something in the acting, and I'm like, this might end up being a cheap gimmick. I don't know about this. Right. And then they get into Ryan, his whole thing. Like he said like some one-liner, and I was like, oh, it's not even like this so bad. It's good one-liners. I was like, this is not gonna be.
He said
good.
A couple of them.
Yeah, that's exactly when it happened, right there.
Yeah,
he popped some gum in, and we found out he quit smoking and all that shit.
He's acting.
I guess that was his moment of redemption when he lit up a cigarette. It was like, oh, badass! Look at him, he's smoking again. God, what a character
I'm acting.
What a character arc, yeah.
That's his character arc. Good, boom. Yeah, like oh man, I was not into it. And then when the shit broke out, I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of cool for a first scene. But then as it kept going on, I'm like, wait a minute, I bet this is like the whole fucking movie. And I slowly started getting pulled in more and more and more. And then I really fell in love with like the SEAL team overall. I didn't like the exact same people that Derek just mentioned, but everybody in the SEAL team I thought was really cool. I thought it was very effective how the one guy, Ash, I think his name was, when he got off, that was fucking that was like sad as shit, dude. Like, like the way he went off, like I'm with you, and they're looking around, you see in their eyes, like he's not.
They keep saying stuff like I got to get back to my daughter, and you just know they're gonna die.
Yeah, and that's like right after it broke off. They're just like, let's just do this real quick, and you know we'll get our daughters on Skype, and then boom. Fucking went to hell real quick. But the action really started to pull me in, and then I was like, okay, it's gonna calm down a little bit, but then it just kept coming, and the people kept coming, just like 400 versus 1 or whatever. Like it just kept happening, and I was so like enthralled by it. I'm like, I can't not fucking be into this pace. It just keeps going. Like you said, the way they did it, the camera would spin around them, almost like you'd stare at them and then come around, and then you see explosions. All the ways they pulled that off, and then what you were saying, like the vent shot. That was a good thing to mix it up, because I was even like putting pieces together in my head. I'm like, so if Scott Adkins goes out here, now we can see the bad guys, because how else would we get to the bad guys? Because it's not like we have to follow someone. Like it's not going to cut and go to them. So I'm like, how are we going to interact with the bad guys? And that was how they were able to do it. It was smart to do that. It made the movie good for doing that. And then when we see the bad guys, I love it when the bad guys are flat out bad. They made an immediate impression. You knew they're bad because they're shooting up the place. But these motherfuckers were cruel to the bone. You overhear them because Scott's like laying there, fucking knifing people, just barely getting by. And you seeing them over there, and he's like, have you seen Mansur or whatever? And no, boom. They're like, what did Mansur say? Boom. And it's like, Jesus, like these dudes aren't fucking playing around. And I love how like that one girl came out, and she even got to see one dude not cooperate. And there's no like, are you sure? It's just over. Like, we got plenty of people to ask. Come on, bitch. Let's go. Get in here. Like, Eddie, all you bitches, y'all are all going down. And then the girl comes over, And he talks to her and he's like, if you tell me, I promise you I won't kill you. And I love that whole thing. You know,
and he's like, I promised I wouldn't kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know it's coming, but it still works.
But he even tells her and he's like, I gave you my word, so I can't kill you. But he says he did it. And then boom, it was like, damn. Like I was in it right there. I was like, the villains are off the fucking chain. And I love that. And that's
was I the only one that had to rewind a couple times to like figure out like, wait, did they cut a scene to go from the good guys to the bad guys?
No, you know, I didn't see it at all.
I know. I kept rewinding. I was like, they had to have cut, and they didn't. Like the transitions from like each team was so smooth.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like once they followed Atkins out there, it gave him an avenue to go to the bad guys because he's watching from a distance and it pass over Atkins and then fall over to them, and then it would follow back to Atkins and he'd fight and then he'd disappear because they were searching for him, and then that would keep you with the bad guys. And then they did the bomb thing, which led them back in. And then now you're back in with the good guys again. It was brilliant the way they turned that around.
It was so good. And the way you just see him charging in with it. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I was freaking out.
And that was another layer you were saying for them to
Nigel
do that.
here.
Oh. Yeah. His name is Brandon, and he's awesome.
Who is this guy with the nice opinions? I might subscribe to him. That means he will.
Right, box office banter. Box office banter.
So I get all like,
it's in the description.
I appreciate it. But that's the whole thing, man, because it's just awesome. Because I was thinking that in my head. I'm like, they won't be able to bounce back and forth, but they found a way around that. They did it. There's a few logic issues for sure. Like there was things like when Atkins got out. To me, that's surprising that the bad guys weren't like, okay, he just came out of there, or at least had the thought to just like, he got out of there somehow. Let's look and see. Let's case the joint. We have all these people here. Why wouldn't we? And then later on, you know, they're like, oh, he got away. Like, why wouldn't they think at least like, hey, go around. Let's make sure there's not another way out. I think that would have been a logical thing to do. And then you have the other portion too, like when they blew up the place, I was surprised. Like it took so long for them to even come in. Like afterwards, there was like, it's you heard them like ripping shit. I guess they were taking too long to get all the way in. They were trying to tear down the wall more or something. But it looked like they could have just walked through. I don't understand why. It felt like 5 minutes after they blew up, they just waited. Like, so there's little things that you can nitpick at over and over again. But in this kind of movie, like I said, dude, that goes right out the fucking window because it's exhilarating, and you can only do so much with this type of film. And the way they just capitalized on it and did all those other little things, like I was just speaking on, really put it a little bit above, not just the rest as in this type of, you know, one shot, one take thing, because, you know, this doesn't happen a lot, but just an action movie in general.
I agree.
I was really surprised by this.
Yeah,
honestly, I was shocked.
It's
I did not think this movie was going to be this good.
What he said is something that brings me to another negative, just like a nitpicky thing, was like there is no military organization, Guantanamo Bay or whatever they were trying to emulate, you know, where anybody, a woman or a man, can walk in with a manila envelope, hand it to someone, and say, "I'm taking this prisoner." That will never happen anywhere. Never, ever. So there was like little things you can nitpick. Like this story in general is outlandish, but it's in terms of action movies, this is not just top tier in terms of one takes, but in terms of action, this is a great freaking movie. I was super shocked and impressed.
I think maybe there was one edit or one cut after an hour. I'm just saying maybe.
Ooh, I'm going to write it down. I'll look it up afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's after an hour, and it's the one where Scott goes, "Grenade!" and he jumps. An explosion of the smoke comes towards the camera. And then after that, and then you don't see anything for a while. And then after that, they're on the ground covered in debris and stuff.
Yes.
So maybe
they might have been able to sneak one there.
Yeah.
But still, that's an hour.
Yeah.
Of no takes, you know, no cuts at all. That's an hour, and then the rest is all right. We're gonna finish we got 30 more minutes right after that. So
and who knows?
I'll let it slide. Just
it'll slide if it even happened, you know. But like I could see that they could have. That'd have been a great opportunity for them to sneak it in. And who knows? Maybe they messed up like on the 7th time trying to film the movie, and they're like, all right, let's just find a way to edit this in right here, and that'll be our one fuck up. And it'll blend in nicely amongst like the smoke.
I forgive it.
Else.
It's fine.
Yeah, not a big deal at all for me either.
Yeah, so I think, it was interesting to watch this movie basically very soon after 400 versus 1, because
Yeah.
I got a very so it was like, okay, so so this was I had a lot of fun basically watching this movie. So it was fun great to see, like, you can do dialogues and one takes, and thinking back, that you just have to be able to appreciate the level of coordination from everyone involved to basically get it right. And Scott Adkins is like, I like seeing him and stuff. I mean, he's probably not going to do anything that's like Hollywood or Oscar worthy, but you know what, that's okay.
You're right. You're right. You're right. He won't. But but yeah,
I always say Scott was born in the wrong era.
I think so too.
80. He would have been a terrific 80s action star, man.
80s, early 90s.
Why can't he get a Jason Statham?
Run for money.
I don't get it.
Yeah, he's as good as Jason Statham.
I like him better.
Yeah, if not better.
Every time I watch Expendables 2, I'm like, fuck. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I guess if I had any nitpick with this movie, it's just I think there's a lot of dialogue that I think could have been cut down because I wasn't following. To be quite honest, there was a lot that I didn't follow, and it's like, you know what? If we just get to the point, there's a prisoner, get him out. That's it. All the other detail, I know it's there because they want to show camera and they need to show all the people and everything, and I think I can understand why they did it, but it was. There were areas where I think you could have made it a little bit quicker and got the movie rocking and pacing to the point a little bit sooner. But that's
I could see that.
Yeah, a little bit polished. But you know what? It's a very, very small nitpick. So basically, I had a lot of fun. It was good to see, seeing the fight scenes and have the fight scenes actually work. Because a lot of the fight scenes that I'm familiar with, you don't do it in just one angle and one take. That's generally not how it's done. But when you get Scott Adkins, at least you can know he's a guy that delivers. When it comes to like control and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun to watch. And the cool thing is, eventually I did end up caring about the characters too, especially I forgot his names, but the British guy. I think that's
he was good. He was really good at acting. I was
great.
Actually surprised. I was like, he's actually kind of killing this for this type of role. More depth there than I thought.
So so there was a point near the end, you probably know, where there was a lot of tension and I was on the edge of my seat wondering what was going to happen, especially when there was that gun stand. I was like, oh. And then I just wanted, I think if that was Ryan Phillip, I just wanted, Scott Adkins to kick Ryan's ass.
I was ready for that.
It's like you just showed that picture too.
Taking home.
That picture you just showed, Samurai, where I love that shot where he's going to fight a guy. So like they lock Manser in that temporary holding room with the glass windows, and the camera gets in there with him, and so they shoot that scene from inside that glass windowed holding cell from the inside looking out. And I loved that. Such a great scene.
Yeah, it's just fantastic stuff here, and even the end finale fight here, when they're doing ground fighting, and then all of a sudden, like he's on top, the main villain's on top, and they're brawling, they're fighting, they're going at it, and then the cameraman leaves the fight, and you still hear them brawling to show what the prisoner's doing.
Yes,
and it goes right back, and they're still going as if the camera didn't go because they
just told each other going.
Oh yeah. That was another logic issue I had. I forgot about. I'm like, right as like they start fighting, that's like when 500 members of this whole fucking unit are gone. It's like it was perfect. Like I'm like, okay, he came out, but there's no reason to believe everybody else is dead on this like whole squad. And then it's like, okay, I guess it's mano a mano. That's something again I throw out the window. I loved how he legitimately got a fight with like the main guy and the second in command. I love that as an action fan. I wanted to see that, but I was like, how are they going to do that? And I was like, well, they pulled it off. Fuck it. They did it again.
Both fights were great. Yeah. That's rare.
And like Teresa again brought up a good point. The camera work during the fight wasn't stale or boring.
Never.
It just, and the timing of this movie was really insane. Very impressive. All right. It's time to vote. It is time to vote. Which movie did it better? All right. I'm going to go last, as is tradition. Derek, who you got? One shot or crazy
One opportunity?
Mom spaghetti.
Dude.
I didn't know how this vote would go before. No. I don't live with mom anymore.
I just ate spaghetti. That's really weird. Now that I think about it.
I didn't know how this vote would go. Both these movies have glowing issues because of the type of movie they are, but they're both entertaining and will find their niches. I mean, both movies will find a crowd that really enjoy them. I honestly, personally, only enjoyed one of these movies more than average, but the one that I did enjoy more than average, I loved. And I actually rented it and then bought it immediately following because I was like, no, I need to own this. It's so good. And it's One Shot. I actually I give it a 8.5 out of 10, which
we're getting a rating
blew my mind. I did not expect a one take movie, with Scott Adkins, as much as I love him, to score so high. And when I was done with it, I just thought, I don't know how you could have done this any better, with what you were given, how you were trying to do it. It's perfect. I'd say one versus, like I said, 100 versus 1 would be better than 400 versus 1. That film would have been a lot better, or just film it as
according to IMDb, it was 588.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I didn't. Yeah. There's no way
someone was counting.
Yeah. Somebody always will.
That's what I was talking about when like the second to last guy fucks up. But the director's like, "What is this, man? You wanted this to be 586 versus 1?" Or maybe that's what it was. The 400th guy tripped.
That 400 sounds.
They're like, we can't do 588 versus 1 anymore.
But like I said, it just became boring, But if it would have been shot like a standard film with a story, the way that they did the intro and the outro, there's no doubt that these people have talent and can make good movies.
Oh yeah, it's talk, man.
So One Shot for me, and I'll write that down.
I think copy that. The crazy thing, Derek, also, if you think about it, Scott Adkins is so much of he's such a beast. This project was like 5 out of 15 for the month for that guy, which is insane when you think about that. He's got to be the hardest working.
He's in every
martial artist star.
He's in everything.
Ever.
Yeah,
like it's insane. This guy's schedule and projects he's got coming out. All right, Brandon, who you got, man?
All right. I did like both movies, but I loved one movie and liked the other. And the other one, I'm not sure if there's that redeemable enough quality to watch even again. So One Shot definitely easily takes this one for me. What I almost wanted to call it the other name it's got, the Musashi, whatever. Now I forgot that one. But 400 versus 1 is like a 7 out of 10 movie to me. I think it's really good, all things considered. But One Shot actually jumped into my top 10 of the year by a hair as my number 10 movie of the year. And it's 8.4 out of 10 to me. I absolutely
so close.
Yeah,
we're right there, man.
I know. And I think, let's just round up 8.5, everybody.
Nice.
Nice.
But yeah, man. One Shot just took the cake for me, man. I loved it. I really did. It might even be in my top 5 Scott Adkins movies. I got to watch it again.
It's up there.
It's
up there.
I wouldn't be surprised. Top 10 at least.
Yeah,
no doubt about that one. The top.
All
5,
right, Therese.
So for me, it has to be One Shot all the way. There wasn't going to be a doubt in my mind with that. And if the Blu-ray ever becomes available, down under, I'm so ready because I would love to hear the director's commentary.
Yes.
On this, that would be
I want it behind the scenes.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, but with that said, thinking about 4 versus 100 Musashi, if they had just, if they just do an edited version or just keep the version. If I'm going to talk to my friends about this, I'll just say, go and see if you can find the ending scene, watch that, and see if they ever make anything like that, because that's what they can do. This is what this movie.
Yeah, it was terrific.
And it's
that was
really,
phenomenal.
really good.
That last fight.
Yeah,
no
and
doubt.
I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not sure if Kenji Takanagi is connected to this or the guys from Rurouni Kenshin. But if they're not, I'm glad that there's competition in that case. That there's other guys in Japan that can make swordmanship look good, because it's a very, very hard thing to do. And I can appreciate them trying, but I think for weapons, it's something that just needs maybe just a little more experimenting, or to see, okay, it's this is not the best way to showcase it. But props for trying. So if I was, I would probably give Musashi 6 or 7 depending on my mood. if I'm early in the morning and I can watch it again, maybe my rating will be a little bit higher. One shot, I'll probably give 8.
All right.
So that's
awesome.
I'm not rating either.
Yeah, I was wondering.
It's my channel, and I'm a rebel. I am allowed.
You do what you want.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. When was the last time we had a clean sweep on Versus? Booyah! Oh yeah, y'all know I was gonna go for one shot.
Yeah, I could tell by the way you were talking. I was like, yeah.
That would have been funny if I accidentally clicked on the Musashi winning.
Wait.
Yeah,
no,
my vote counts as 5,
motherfuckers. Right, dude.
All right,
let's give it its flowers, man. It deserves
public.
Of course.
Let's get a cool picture.
Here we go. Yeah. Boom. There's the public poll right there.
That's I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's about right.
Yeah,
I 400 versus 1 got a little more love than I thought, so I like that.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the IMDb scores on these?
It's like 4 and 5.
Yeah, I remembered it. I remember off the top of my head. Yeah, like the 400 versus 1. Yeah, 400 versus 1 only had a 4.6, which I thought that was like a little harsh. And then One Shot was only a 5.5. I'm just like, I don't know what y'all are wanting action.
That's political, man. That's political.
You know what's bad though? You know what's bad? I actually I saw one review on IMDb for One Shot, and the guy hated it, and that's fine. Movies are subjective, right? But the excuses though was there's too much action in it. That was the review.
He didn't like politics
in this movie.
Something in that movie offended him, and so he's like, "I've got to speak out against this politically."
That's what they thought. They thought it was going to be a political drama with Scott Adkins. That's exactly what it was. Like, what is this, bro? You got
political drama with Scott Adkins.
House of Cards.
Ryan Phillippe in the fucking movie. Come on.
The movie, he's like,
that's gonna be a romance.
Man, sir deserved his one shot. He just cuts to the fucking black. It's like, what the fuck? What is this?
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I was just like, oh boy. All right. I'm not even gonna bother reading the rest of that review. I'm gonna skip that.
No. I didn't read any of the reviews. I just was I'm always curious. I never let the shit shape my opinion, but I'm always the curiosity. I'm just like, oh man, these are pretty low actually. But
did you guys check Rotten Tomatoes as well? What were these?
It's probably low on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm sure.
I think
I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought One Shot was higher.
Yeah, no, One Shot I think had like a 67% actually.
Really?
And somewhere in that ballpark, and I believe 400 versus 1 was a 37%, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes 67 on One Shot.
Yeah, and the other one's 37.
And it's 38, yeah.
Oh, 38, that's what it was.
One Shot 67.
Wow.
Certified fresh, man.
Certified fresh.
What was the critics score?
Oh,
critics score. I didn't look at all that. I normally just do IMDb and that.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay,
I'm
getting it loaded. Audience score 59, so it's lower.
Really?
It just says it says tomato meter 67%, audience score 59.
The critics liked it more. That's
surprising.
That's very
that is weird.
I would not expected that, to be honest.
No.
Wow.
Especially not for
critics get a bad rap.
Yeah, especially not with like Scott Adkins, like that's a fan favorite.
I changed my opinion on this movie. There was just too much action in it.
Yeah, it sucked. There was like shooting and stuff, and there was also some like killing. I didn't.
Too many explosions.
What is this? They blew up a helicopter. I used to drive a
what's
helicopter.
Over these knives and bullets?
It's just, I'm serious though, man. Like that is wild, dude. Just the whole thing, man. It's just wild.
I mean, I'm actually curious as to what they were expecting. Maybe they didn't watch a trailer if there was one, and it just went blind.
I did.
Well, I mean, just like what you look at the cast, even. I mean,
it looks like an action movie, though.
It's military. They're wearing full Navy SEAL attire.
Yeah.
Navy Sears. Is that where Navy SEAls go?
Navy Sears. No, I think it's JC. I think it's JC Penney.
Like, no, it's Navy Sears gear, bro.
Oh man! Well, this was a absolute blast, as always. Hanging out with these badasses and talking movies, which is what we love doing, which is the purpose of the channel, son. Get everybody together. And we discuss our love for film, talk about what we like and we didn't like. That's the purpose, man. Having fun, meeting people, Movie Dojo Army communities growing on the flip.
Oh, yeah.
army's growing, and the box office banter army's growing, and the silver harvest is growing, son.
Yes, sir.
That's how we do it.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
Teresa's
went gangster right there.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't piece that together with the golden harvest, the silver harvest. I was like, damn, I should have.
I asked them why didn't they do platinum harvest, but that just sounded.
No, yeah, there you go.
Titanium harvest.
Maybe there'll be short sisters.
What is this, Minecraft?
Oh, sorry, wrong one. Hold on. Hold on. There's a reason I'm doing this, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Come back soon.
This time he's not actually gonna come back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay, he's back.
Sorry.
I'll never not fall for that. Like,
every time,
where my heart drops every time I see something like that, because it's immediately like, think on the fly. What do we do here?
Talk too much. Talk too much.
Oh,
yeah.
I gotta go again. Hold on.
Bye.
Bye.
So sandwiches. I started talking about random shit and passed the time.
You got ham. You got turkey.
Like just completely blow it. Like, dude, great podcast. What was that weird thing at the end with sandwiches?
Yeah.
Could you imagine somebody just now coming to the stream? Sandwiches. What?
Yeah, Subways. Subs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right, now, enough of
Unlike
that.
400 verse 1.
Go ahead
Sucked.
and wrap it up for today. All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all know what you need to do. Subscribe to Therese, Derek, Brandon. All the information's in the description box below of this video. Thanks for hanging out with us. Next Thursday, it's Christmas themed movie versus movie. What's it going to be? You won't find out until next week. That's right. Unless you're a member, channel member, then you guys will get the dibs on what next week's going to be. So, all right, guys. Thanks again for watching, hanging out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the Samurai, and we'll see you badasses on the next one. Take care, guys.